Hello guys, today we're going to be doing a different style of video. I want to go ahead and test out Fullscreen versus Borderless, since I've seen a couple of comments of people saying that you get better performance in Fullscreen. Now I think that playing in Borderless windowed versus Fullscreen will not affect your performance too much. Maybe you'll get 1 to 5% FPS difference. We're going to go ahead and play the game in Fullscreen mode. I've been playing the game with a 3060 Ti and a Ryzen 3700X as well. I'm going to stand here, let the FPS stabilize. We're getting 85 FPS here. I'm gonna start counting the frames and I'm gonna keep running. Here we go. It seems like we're getting 82 FPS to 85 running in full screen mode. Seems pretty stable, no stuttering, no lagging at all. And we got to the end. Alright. Let's go ahead and run back, and we try this again with Borderless window, and FPS is sitting still in 84, 85 range, and I'm gonna start counting the FPS. I'm gonna run. Here we go. Be kind of interesting to see if I'm correct with my with what I'm saying, or if I'm gonna be wrong in the comments. And the comment section is gonna be correct. All right. Cool, let's go ahead and take a look at the results. Alright, looking at the results. Full screen mode, we got an average FPS of 83.4 with a max FPS of 90.2. And our lowest 1% was 74.4. Switching to Borderless mode, we got an average FPS of 83.8. So a 0.4 increase in our frame rate, which is nothing. And our max FPS dropped by 0.1 from 90.2 to 90.1. So again, no difference at all in your actual frame rate or your experience when you're playing the game. We had no stutters in full screen and no stutters in Borderless as well. And our lowest 1% frame rate was 76.1, which is two frames higher than full screen where we got 74.4. Alright, let's jump into Cyberpunk. Right, here we go, ready? I'm gonna start counting the frames now. I'm gonna drive for a little bit, and we'll see the frame rate. We are sitting at 92 once we get going. FPS is kind of jumpy, 107, but our average FPS is sitting at 98. $70 FPS. That's kind of low to go for a 3060 Ti and 1080p. Alright. Average FPS is 83 now. Frame rate is too jumpy to keep track, so that's why I'm counting the frames. And then I'm going to end it right here at the lights. Cool. So let's go ahead and start counting the frames now and drive off. Frame rate, it's kind of hard to keep track of again, but we're sitting in the high 90s. We fell into the 70s with full screen once we got past this little zone. So let's see if it happens again. I'll try to keep the same line. But traffic is different, it seems like. Haven't fallen to the 70s yet, which is kind of interesting. And I'm gonna stop at the lights. This ran better, I think. Alright, taking a look at the results for Cyberpunk. Full screen mode, we got an average FPS of 88.6 with a max FPS of 109.8, and our low 1% was 61.1. Alright, switching to Borderless mode, we got a max FPS of 109.6, so an decrease of 0.2. Average FPS went from 88.6 to 91.4, which is an increase of 2.8, which is still not gonna be too much of an increase, Like I said before, it's a very, even if you see any change, it's very minimal, 1 to 2% FPS difference. It's not major at all. And our low 1% went from 61.1 to 64.4. So it seems like Cyberpunk runs better in Borderless mode. Slightly better, it's not too much of an increase. It won't affect your performance. If you like playing in full screen mode, you can still play in full screen mode. And if you're worried about playing in Borderless mode, about losing your frames, shouldn't be worried. Like I said before, sometimes you gain FPS, sometimes you lose FPS, but it's only 2 or 3 difference. It's not gonna affect anything. And you get the benefit of actually being able to alt tap faster as well. So we're back now, and we're running Cyberpunk with the same settings as before, but this time we only have 2 cores and 4 threads, and we only have a limited amount of RAM. We had 32 GB of RAM before, now this time we only have 8. And yeah, let's test it again and see if there's a difference. We should be in Borderless right now, I think, right? Yeah, it's gonna put it in full screen. Alright, here we go. Running into a CPU bottleneck. We're only having 2 cores. 2 cores and 4 threads. It's definitely more lagging now. It's stuttering heaps. We fall into the low 30s. Faster that we drive, the more CPU bandwidth will become. And I didn't really take a look at the frames, but oh, we'll check afterwards. Alright, here we go. Okay, let's get going. I'm gonna start counting the frames. Here we go. Now I think that with a mid-range system or a higher end system, playing at Borderless isn't gonna affect you at all, but a lower end system, we might see a bigger gap in performance. Alright, comparing the results, Cyberpunk Fullscreen on our simulated low-end system, we got an average FPS of 42.5 with a max FPS of 66.8, and our low 1% was 19.6, so that's pretty bad. And then switching over to Borderless, we got an average FPS of 44.2, so an increase of 2.3 FPS, and a max FPS of 65.3, which is lower than what we had before. It's by 1.5. And our lowest 1% was 19.9 compared to 19.6, so a 0.3 increase. It's basically the same experience, and the test results are identical as well. Like, you're only off by 1 or 2. So alright, I'm gonna leave you guys with a side-by-side comparison of the built-in benchmark for Cyberpunk. If you found the video useful or if you enjoyed it, give it a like, and a subscription really highly appreciated as well. See you next time.